Right, moving on, the US sided twice with Russia in the UN vote marking the third anniversary of the Ukraine conflict. Now, this highlighted the drastically changed position of the Trump government on the Ukraine-Russia conflict. The Kremlin called it Washington, D.C.'s balanced position. It praised the U.S. for its stand. Meanwhile, after meeting Trump in Washington, D.C., France's President Emmanuel Macron said that a peace deal must not become a surrender by Ukraine, but instead it should be backed by security guarantees. Raghav Kumar Jha has more.
On the third anniversary of Russia-Ukraine conflict, United Nations witnessed a seismic shift in international diplomacy. First, the US opposed a European-drafted resolution condemning Moscow's actions and supporting Ukraine's territorial integrity. It voted along with Russia, Israel, North Korea, Sudan, Belarus, Hungary and 11 other states with 65 abstentions, whereas 93 UNGA members backed the resolution. Then, the United States drafted and voted for a resolution at the UN Security Council which called for an end to the conflict without criticizing the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Security Council passed the resolution, which received 10 votes in favor, while France, Britain, Denmark, Greece and Slovenia abstained. America's acting envoy to the United Nations described the US resolution as a simple historic statement that looks forward, not backwards.
It is a first step, but a crucial one of which we should all be proud. Now we must use it to build a peaceful future for Ukraine, Russia, and the international community.
However, US President Donald Trump's approach to mediation has left Ukraine and European allies wary of his focus on Russia instead of Ukraine. Britain's UN ambassador, Barbara Woodward, told the Council that the terms of peace in Ukraine matter and must send a message that aggression does not pay.
And the terms of the peace must send a message that aggression does not pay. This is why there can be no equivalence between Russia and Ukraine in how this Council refers to this war.
Early on Monday, the UNGA also passed a US-drafted resolution, but only after it was amended to include language supporting Ukraine, which led to the US abstaining from the process. The Kremlin on Tuesday praised Washington's balanced position after the US voted with Russia to avoid condemnation of Moscow's campaign against Ukraine. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron held talks with US President Donald Trump in the White House. Macron said any peace deal must not be a surrender of Ukraine and it should be backed by security guarantees, while Trump insisted on a ceasefire without any delay.
We want peace. That peace cannot mean capitulation by Ukraine. That peace cannot be a ceasefire with no guarantees. That peace must include the conditions for Ukrainian sovereignty.
A really horrible one, a war, something that we haven't seen since the Second World War, that is ravaging European soil, the deadliest and most destructive conflict. It's time to end this bloodletting and restore peace, and I think we're going to do it. We've had some great conversations, including with Russia.
Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Monday that while Europe's involvement in Ukraine peace talks will be necessary, Moscow first wants to establish trust with Washington. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin extended an economic offer to the US, proposing joint exploration of rare earth minerals, including from Russian-occupied territories of Ukraine. Raghav Kumar Jha's report for DD India.